सर सिटी के पास से भी तो गुजरे हैं थोड़े बहुत।
हाँ जी. So small drains which are passing through the cities, maybe if Vasa is active, then they will be doing the stream gauging. But usually they are not doing it. They are just providing water from the groundwater. They are not much interested with that. But with respect to the flood drainage, yeah, they observe the water levels in different streams within the city. Anybody will help him. Irrigation is fine. All those structures.
Survey of Pakistan. Survey of Pakistan
Yeah.
data.
What was my question?
What are the department that measure the?
What are the department that measure the?
Sir, WAPDA.
The stream gauge factors.
What are the department which are measuring the streams, or which are operating stream gauging stations, or which are measuring the stream flows? So Survey of Pakistan is not doing this thing. Survey of Pakistan have established datum for different purpose, for surveying purposes, and we can use that datum also. Those benchmark we can use, but they are not doing the stream gauging. सर्वे ऑफ पाकिस्तान का दूर दूर तक कोई ताल्लुक नहीं है स्ट्रीम फ्लो मेजरमेंट के साथ. So it's WAPDA, somebody have say WAPDA, Water and Power Development Authority, because they are developing the water sector. They have to construct the new projects like Bhasha, like Tarbela, Mangla. These have been constructed by WAPDA. Large projects like Chashma Miraj, these things. So for that they need to know the flows and for that purpose they need to establish the stream gauging stations. Most of the northern Pakistan, most of the streams in the northern Pakistan which are giving water to the Indus Basin irrigation system, to the main rivers of Pakistan, those are being observed, those are being gauged by the WAPDA. And when it enters into province like canals, like major canals, like barrages, then it is the relevant provincial irrigation department. I am saying relevant because each province have a separate irrigation department. Punjab irrigation department is separate from KPK irrigation department. So they are doing it. So these are the two main institutions which are observing flows in the channels and streams and the rivers of Pakistan. Two kind of controls were informed to you, which can control the relationship between stage and discharge at a certain station. So first tell me what is the name of the relationship. There is a particular name of the relationship between stage and discharge. उस relationship को क्या कहते हैं? एक खास किस्म का ग्राफ है. We have given it a name. A relationship between head or stage and discharge is called as. Abdul Hasib, welcome back. पहले तो गायब हो गए थे. Unmute your mic.
Yes sir.
कब तक भागोगे हैं? क्या हाल है? तबीयत ठीक है?
Yes sir, alhamdulillah.
Very good, mashallah. So there is a particular name for the relationship, for the graph between stage and discharge at a certain station. What we call it?
Sir नहीं पता.
शाबाश है, पता होना चाहिए था. Who will help him?
Sir, rating curve.
Rating curve, very good.
Logic.
So hydrograph and rating curve are the frequent terms which we use. Hydrograph जो है वो और चीज है, rating curve और चीज है. Hydrograph relates stage with time or discharge with time, or sometimes sediments with the time. So rating curve relates to a hydraulic parameter. One is a head or stage, one is the discharge. So that helps us know how much is discharge if head is known or stage is known. So that is frequently used at station. If you go to the Shadra gauging station of Ravi River, if you go to Baloki and gauging station at Ravi River, or Chashma at Indus, or Marala at Chenab, they will have the rating curve with them. That's a must thing over there. Rating tables or rating curve will be available with them. Daily they are measuring the stage over there and then seeing from that rating table or rating curve, they are telling to the whole country so much is the discharge passing through this. So what do you think how these rating curves are developed? रेटिंग कर्व बनाते कैसे हैं? जी
सर करंट मीटर्स जो है वो फील्ड में यूज करके तो उधर से हम जो है वो स्टेज और डिस्चार्ज या फ्लो में जो है वैल्यूज निकाल के तो उनका जो ग्राफ प्लॉट करेंगे वो हमारे पास रेटिंग कर पाएगा.
Very right, very correct. We actually measure the discharge using any method like current meter files, and today lecture is also regarding this method of measurement of discharge. So people measure the discharge using current meter. Current meter is an instrument which is used to measure the velocity. It does not, it don't give you the discharge directly. It is a propeller kind of rotating equipment or cup kind of rotating equipment, and its speed of rotation can help us find the speed of water. So it gives us the velocity of water in the stream, and multiplying with the flow area, we get the discharge in the stream. So discharge is measured. We say this is actual measurement of discharge in the channel. And on that day, on that time, if we measure the discharge and we also measure the stage or depth of the water or head of the water, so we mark a point on the rating curve. So if we repeat this process on several days, for several years, so then we get many points for different head and discharge, different head and discharge, different stage and discharge. That can help me plot the rating curve. I get a relationship between head and discharge, and later on, if that rating curve is established, we can use it for the future purpose. That's right. So any questions which come to your mind in this regard, you are welcome. Otherwise, I go to the next lecture. है किसी के ज़हन में सवाल? There was a crest gauge. मेरे ज़हन में एक आ रहा है. Just to see if somebody have gone through the lecture. There was a crest gauge. In the last lecture, we studied a kind of gauge, and that was the last type of the stage gauge. Crest gauge. What was the purpose of that crest gauge? क्या मकसद क्या था उसका? FK 170. चलो आप
क्रस्ट को फाइंड करने के लिए
किस चीज की क्रस्ट को फाइंड करने के लिए?
क्रस्ट फ्लड क्रस्ट.
ओके, द हाईएस्ट वाटर लेवल को फाइंड करने के लिए, को रिकॉर्ड करने के लिए,
yes sir,
we use a crest gauge. And who will tell me the working principle of the crest gauge? Uzair, let me ask someone, Mr. FK 170704 17704. क्या हुआ था भाई 17/7/2004 को? FK, what's your name, please? First tell me your name. Unmute your mic. FK 1707. Not available, sleeping. Note it down. ये शहजादा लगता है चला के भाग गया. Okay, neighbor to FK, Freeha Nisar. Freeha Nisar. Unmute your mic, please. Lecture. No Freeha Nisar, no FK 17.
Yes, sir.
So you will tell me the working principle of the crest gauge. क्या हालात हैं आपकी तरफ सर्दी के? पहले तो ये बताओ।
सर ठीक है, काफी सर्दी है।
अच्छी सर्दी है, मजे की है। हीटर शीटर चलाया हुआ है?
सर इलेक्ट्रिक हीटर ही चलाते हैं, गैस तो आती नहीं है।
ठीक है, हीटर होना चाहिए, बाकी
यस
एनर्जी
सर।
सोर्स को छोड़ो। So now, what is the working principle of crest gauge? क्या बताया था?
सर
It is used to measure the highest water level in the previous time period, like the flood peak or maximum water level in the previous time step. So how it works?
So small amount of ground cork is placed in perfected cup. As the water level rises in the pipe, cork floats on the water and adheres to the staff at the highest level. The staff and the crest reading is recorded.
Sahi hai. So there are grounded corks or some floating material placed in a container, and that container is within a small diameter, 2-inch diameter pipe. That pipe has holes or perforation at the bottom. So when water enters into the pipe, that grounded cork also float with the water and they go up. There is a staff within the pipe. There is a gauge or meter within the pipe or staff within the pipe. So cork gets stuck with it. So when water level rises, cork also rise, and they keep stuck at the highest level. When water level go down, they don't come down. So when somebody want to see the highest water level observed during the last time period, they take out the staff or they open it and they see what is the maximum mark the corks are showing. The stuck are the corks which are attached to the staff. What is their mark? So that mark is regarded as the crest level or the highest water level of the flood. So that's right. Thank you, Faria. Enjoy your heater now. Next is one was what was? Who will tell me there was a wire weight gauge? There was a wire weight gauge. How much length of the wire is released if a rotation of the drum occurs? One rotation of the drum of the wire weight gauge releases how much length of the cable of the wire? हाँ जी, मुइन अवैस, क्या हाल है आपके? आज चुप हो। मुइन अवैस
0.045 inches.
Inches. So what is my question?
एक ड्रम की सिंगल लेयर में कितना कहते हैं वो रोटेशन उसकी केबल की कितनी जाती है लेंथ उसमें?
और आप कितना कह रहे हो? 0.045?
0.045
आगे यूनिट्स?
इंच।
अब ना अपने सामने एक इंच का ना आप अपने ये फिंगर्स खोलो जरा। 1 इंच।
सर 1 इंच की तो ऑलमोस्ट फिंगर होती है।
अच्छा, नहीं मैं दोनों फिंगर के दरमियान में, तुम मुझे मेरी तस्वीर देखो जरा, और उसका ना 100th पार्ट बनाओ फिर। तो 0.04 का मतलब है 4th of 100. So you think one drum which I show you that release this much amount of wire? सोचा करो जरा थोड़ा सा।
सर 1 फुट तक हो सकती है, आई थिंक सो। ये दो वैल्यूज थी लास्ट टाइम उसमें।
बिल्कुल ये वैल्यू थी, तो वैसे नहीं यूज कर लिया करते, जरा सोच के यूज करते हैं। That was mentioned as the diameter of the, and I had question on this also, but what can I say? USGS manual have mentioned this, maybe typing mistake. This also is very thin with respect to dia also. It seems it's also erroneous. So that was mentioned 0.045 as a
diameter,
not the release of the wire.
Yes,
one
sir.
rotation of the drum on which the wire is wound So that releases 1 feet of the wire. So number of rotation of the drum help us find how much deep the wire has gone, how much deep the weight has gone before it touched the water level. So that's fine. Okay, we move ahead with today's lecture. If you don't have any question, in continuation of the stream gauging, last time we have gone through the review of uh, different instruments which are used to measure the stage, and the stage is the elevation of the water in the stream with respect to some datum. Clear ना, इसमें कोई मुश्किल वाली बात नहीं है. Level of the water in the stream with respect to a certain datum. Datum can be of different kind. It can be Survey of Pakistan datum. It can be datum selected by you yourself, close to the site, close to the project. It can be some international datum, WGS 84, something like that. So today we are moving ahead. If stage is with you, that alone is not sufficient. In addition to stage, we need to know how much is a discharge, how much is the flow passing through this, because we are interested in knowing how much flow is passing today, how much is flow passing tomorrow, and in this way the whole year, and in this way for many years, to know what is the average flow at a certain location, to know what is the maximum flow at a certain location, to know what is the minimum flow at a certain location. Because it is said that if you want to manage something, you should be able to measure it. If you cannot measure something, you cannot manage it. If you don't know the quantity, how much is the quantity available, how can you manage it? Because we want efficient water management, we want to develop the water for the beneficial purpose of the mankind. So we need to measure it. We need to know how much is the quantity available. Then next steps comes how to manage it, how to store it, how to divert it. So first it's knowing the quantity is necessary. So in this figure, in the title figure, you are seeing a very simple method of measuring, which can be used by you also. And who can describe this figure, what they are doing? क्या किया हुआ है? एक stream चल रही है. There is a stream. And there is an orange floating in the stream.
सर वेलोसिटी शायद मेजर कर रहे हैं, वो ऑरेंज को जो है वो अलाउ करेंगे मूव करने के लिए, उसके डिस्टेंस और टाइम के लिहाज से वो फिर उधर से इसकी वेलोसिटी निकालेंगे.
Very right, very right. They are doing the, and we call it in float method of measurement of the stream velocity. इसको लोगों ने float method बोला है. Anything which flow along with the water, or which float on the water and it flows along with the water, can be used to estimate the surface water, the velocity of the surface water. Because velocity is different at different depth of the waters within the stream, you should be knowing that velocity is not same at all the places. The velocity which you usually mention is the mean velocity. And if you measure velocity at different locations, you will be getting velocity a little bit different from the mean. At the top surface, velocity may be different. At the bottom, at the bed, velocity will be different. Left and right velocity will. So usually, when we measure the discharge in a stream and divide it with the flow area, the velocity which we get, we call that as a mean velocity. So this float method can be used to estimate the float velocity in the stream. And then from the experience, people know that the surface velocity in the stream is usually so much time of the mean velocity. Surface velocity is usually, not always, usually so much time of the stream velocity. So they multiply with that factor and they get the mean stream velocity, and then multiplying that mean stream velocity with the flow area. This float will not give them the flow area. Flow area, they have to measure it themselves. This float will only give the surface velocity. We know discharge is equal to product of area and velocity. Discharge in a channel, discharge in a pipe is product of area into velocity, A into V. Q is equal to A into V. Flow area into velocity gives us cubic feet per second, cubic meter per second. So area, this float will not help them measure the area. Area they have to measure themselves. And what are the methods available to measure the area? This is question from the survey. सर्वे का क्वेश्चन है, हाउ कैन वी मेजर द एरिया ऑफ द स्ट्रीम, फ्लो एरिया ऑफ द स्ट्रीम, कैसे कर सकते हैं? यही स्ट्रीम है फॉर एग्जांपल, यही बंदा खड़ा हुआ है, इसे फ्लो एरिया चाहिए, क्या करें? इजी इजी बच्चों वाली बातें कर रहा हूं मैं। एंड व्हाई नॉट यू हमना परी?
सर स्टाफ को यूज किया जा सकता है अगर हमारे पास जो है वो हाइट बहुत डेप्थ बहुत ज्यादा नहीं तो।
Yes, the stream which we are looking is seems to be small stream. So in this case, we can use a staff or meter or any stick which we can measure. We can put that stick inside water and we can see how much is the depth at one location. Then we put it at another place, how much is the depth along the cross section. Along the cross section, we will put the stick or staff inside and we will see how much is the depth. Then next point, then next point, then next point. And in this way, we can draw the cross section. And this method in which we physically go into the stream and measure the bed elevation and measure the depth of water or bed elevation, we call this is sounding method. We are sounding the bed of the stream using bamboo. If it is let us say 4 or 5 meter deep stream, we can use large bamboos. We can sit in the boat and we can do it. And if it is a stream which has small depth, and then we can go into the stream. That's why they are having long woods worn, and they can go into the stream. And this we call as wading. This method we call as wading method of sounding the stream, wading method, going into the stream itself and then measuring the depth of the water in the stream. So keep in mind, cross section you have to survey. And if it is very deep channel, for example, even the large bamboo tree cannot reach to the bed of the channel. Any example of such channel which is very deep? कोई example है आपके ज़हन में? कौन सी ऐसी जगह हो सकती है जहाँ पे depth 100 feet हो? कोई ऐसा channel या river हो सकता है? Where these sticks, these staffs don't work, depth is so high. वहाँ पे क्या करेंगे? Anybody? Quickly tell me so that I can go ahead. Quickly, please tell me so that I can go ahead. So the example of such channel in which the depth is too high, that is our reservoirs. Our Tarbela, Manglar, if we want to measure the cross section in the Tarbela reservoir, this sounding method will not work over there. Then anybody will tell me what is the method available to measure the cross section of the channel over there? Cross section of the
रेडिएशन वगैरह रिमोट सेंसिंग भी शायद होती है, उससे हम कर सकते हैं.
Radiation and remote sensing. We don't call it radiation or remote sensing. हम इसके लिए खास नाम
सोनिक वेव्स नहीं यूज करते, अल्ट्रासोनिक वेव्स.
अब सही है, अब सही आ रहे हो. So we use sound waves and we call it sonar survey. इसके लिए स्पेशल नाम है जिसको हम कहते हैं sonar survey, SONAR. The instrument is placed on the boat and that instrument releases the sound waves, and the return of the sound wave tells them how deep is the channel over there. So that is usually used. So these are components which you have studied in hydrographic survey, bathymetric survey in survey subject. उस topic को दोबारा देख लोगे तो you will be knowing how to measure the cross section using different method. Remote sensing, because usually remote sensing is using the satellites, so they are not used to measure the cross section of the channel. That is difficult. So hydrographic survey, bathymetric survey or simple survey methods can be used to measure the cross section of the channel. So for flow measurement, you need velocity and you need cross section. Cross sectional part is studied in surveying, so we will not be discussing it much. how to measure the stream velocity, that will be discussed in this lecture in more detail. And this I have already described, that usually we have a stage discharge relationship, which is called as a rating curve, and development of this stage discharge relationship we can call as a calibration, or making the relationship between these two parameters. And then later on we can use these rating curves for reporting the discharge by simply measuring the stage at the location. First, we should have the rating curve with us, and then we can use that in the later stages, later time steps. Here is a list of all the methods which are possible to use to measure the discharge or estimate the discharge. I can say not all methods measure the discharge. Some are used to estimate the discharge also. So most commonly used method is the current meter method. And before that, they have mentioned that the rating curve is used to estimate the discharge. And I have informed you that the rating curve is the relationship between stage and discharge itself. Usually stage is on the vertical axis because it is mentioning the depth, and the discharge is usually on the x-axis. This is our norms over here. Although discharge is dependent upon the depth, so independent parameters should have been on the horizontal, but because we can see the depth variation vertically, so it is a normal practice that the depth is mentioned on the vertical axis in the rating curve. Okay, so if the rating curve is available at a location, you can estimate the discharge using that rating curve by knowing the stage for any stage value for any water level. Another method is current meter. Current meter is a mechanical instrument, rotating kind of instrument. When it is placed at a certain depth in the channel, it starts rotating with the speed of the water. With the speed of the water, it start revolutions or rotations of its cups or its propeller, and number of rotations per second can be related to the velocity. Number of rotations per second is related to the velocity of the channel by previously checking that current meter in the laboratory. In the laboratory, in the flume, if we have a channel in which flow velocity is pre-known to us, flow velocity is known to us, and I put the current meter in it, and it tells me that at the moment 5 revolutions per second are occurring. So I can relate this number of rotations of the current meter with the velocity. Repeating it for different velocities, I can have a relationship of the number of rotations with the velocity in the channel. So this we call as a equation of a current meter. So whenever we are provided with a current meter instrument, the manufacturer gives its equation to us also. I show you, for example, these are the current meters. Here is the actual chart provided by the manufacturer of this current meter. So they are telling us the coefficient of the equations. They are telling us the coefficient of the equations, and usually the equation of the current meter have this उसकी equation की क्या shape क्या होती है? Equation of the current meter is usually linear equation. Something is equal to constant plus, कहाँ पे equation यहाँ पे नहीं mention है. For example, velocity will be equal to A plus B times N. N is the number of rotations per second. Velocity will be equal to a coefficient plus another coefficient times N. So this coefficient A and B for a current meter are given by the manufacturer. And if it is not given by the manufacturer, usually we have the facility available, like our flume is available. In that flume, we can make a flow of certain velocity, and we can put current meter in it, and we can see how many number of rotations are occurring. And repeating it 10, 20, 30 times, we can get the relationship between the number of rotations and the velocity. If you have this equation with you, then you can take that current meter in the field, put it in the stream at desired depth, and it will give you the number of rotations. You note the time also, you get the number of rotations per second, and use the equation of the current meter and estimate the velocity. So that is how current meter is working. Spillways, sluice gates, weirs, notches, valves of the gates, these are also used to measure the discharge. What is a spillway? Spillway is a structure in a dam, in the body of the dam or on the side of the body of the dam, normally on a dam structure. We have a structure which is used to release the extra water, which is used to spill away the extra water or flood water. Usually its crest level is high, so it is not used to release when the reservoir is at the lower elevation. So spillway is usually utilized or open or put it into working condition when there is flood condition over there. So spillways, the depth over the spillway work like a notch. You have seen notches. You have seen in the laboratory. You have in the fluid mechanics. You have seen the notches, rectangular notch, triangular notch, trapezoidal notch. So spillway work like notches. So depth above the crest of the spillway can be related with the discharge. So they have formula for spillway available. So they measure the depth above the spillway crest, and that can be converted into discharge. Usually format of this discharge formula of the spillway or weir is discharge is equal to a coefficient times width of that spillway or length of that spillway times head above the crest of the spillway power something. Power is usually for rectangular spillway, it is 3.2, 1.5 is the power, 3 divided by 2 or 1.5. So that such kind of equations are available which relates the flow or head above the crest of the spillway or head above the crest of the gates or weirs or notches, and that can help us find the discharge. That's why such structures are usually called control stations. Any structure where spillway is there or where gates are there or notches are there, so over there we can have a good relationship of discharge and head. So that such stations where relationship between discharge and head can be established or is established, we say this is a control station. We can measure the discharge at this location. Sometimes we use flumes. Flumes are artificial channels. We give a special shape to the flume, we contract it, or we provide a steep slope in the flume, and then we can relate the depth with the discharge. An example of flume is shown in flume की example कहाँ है? नहीं है? Here is the flume. It is an artificial channel, and usually its maximum width is kept equal to the width of the channel in which we want to measure the discharge. So it is contracted at its throat point, at its middle point usually, and sometimes it is given a steep slope also. And you have seen an instrument in for discharge measurement in pipe. One instrument, if I remind you, was Venturi meter. If you remember the shape of the Venturi meter, in a pipe we install Venturi meter. Venturi meter contract the flow area and then diverge it. There is a contracting part of the Venturi meter, and there is an expanding part of the Venturi meter. So when we contract the flow area, the pressure varies. The velocity head changes to the pressure head changes to velocity head at the contracted part. So the variation of the pressure in the Venturi meter was related to the discharge in fluid mechanics 1. Venturi meter instrument which is used to measure the flow in pipes. So similar is the concept used over here. Now we are not having a pipe, we have an open channel. So instead of contracting from all the sides, they only contract the width. In the flumes which are used to measure the discharge, they contract the width. So when they contract the width, so there is a variation of the head at the upstream location and at the throat. So this variation of the head is related with the discharge. So they relate it with the discharge, and then people just measure the head at the two sections, and discharge formula is available for such with the coefficients with it, and we can convert it into discharges in the channel. So that can be used. So one of the method of measurement of discharge in the channel, and usually these flumes, because these are artificially made, so they are used to measure the flow in small channels. We use flumes to measure in the small channels, not like big rivers. उसमें हम इतना बड़ा flume नहीं बना सकते. We cannot make big flumes in the large rivers. So small channels like water courses in the fields. Water courses को local language में we call it khala, or we call it that is the local name. So that is a small channel. So that can be flumes can be used in water courses to measure the discharge, or we can use this flume in the lab to measure the discharge. Large flumes are not constructed quite frequently. It is then costly. Culverts can be used, but their hydraulics is complex, so usually we don't recommend that. But relationship between discharge and the depth of the water in the culvert can be established, and that can be used to measure the discharge. So if you have no control structures, sometimes we estimate discharge using the uniform flow equations like Manning's equation or like Chasey equation. So we call them as a uniform flow equation. So to estimate the discharge using this uniform flow equations, you see the parameters on the right hand side. These parameters should be pre-known to you. These parameters should be known to you. Most of these parameters will come from the survey. What is S? This is the slope of the channel. If it is uniform flow, so it will come from the, of course, bed elevation at two location, and difference of the bed elevation divided by the length between those 2 points will tell you the longitudinal slope of the channel. So it means this is a survey or geometry problem. Survey will tell you the longitudinal slope. This flow area, that is the cross-sectional area of the channel. So that will come from survey. Hydraulic radius R, that is the ratio of flow area and the wetted perimeter. Again, if you have the cross-sectional geometry with you, flow area and hydraulic radius will be. So all these three parameters, A, R, and S, comes from the survey. So if you want to estimate the flow at a certain location using Manning's equation or Chasey equation, so you should have the cross-sectional of that channel. You should have the longitudinal slope of that channel, and another parameter, roughness factor. Manning's roughness factor should be known to you. So literature help us estimate N value, Manning's roughness. Literature tell us that if the channel is unlined channel having the sand at the bed of the channel, then N should be so much, 0.0225, 0.0225. If channel is concrete lined channel, literature tells us that N value should be 0.015, 0.016. So literature helped me find Manning's roughness coefficient. Literature tell me that channel have the boulders inside it, have very rough bed, then its N value should be 0.03, 0.035. So N value you have to estimate. You have to guess from the literature, with the help of the literature. So when all these parameters on the right hand side of the equation are known, so at a certain depth in the channel at that time, see how much is the flow area at that depth, how much is the hydraulic radius, what is the slope of the channel, what should be the N value, and you can estimate the discharge at that location. But that is a very crude method, we can say, because this equation is good for uniform flow, and uniform flow assumption should be true. The channel should be flowing with a uniform flow. Channel should not be in a flood condition. Uniform flow means at two locations, the parameters of the channel of the flow are not varying. Within the two locations, whatever is the depth at one section, same should be the depth. So uniform flow condition, if it is over there, then this will, and if N estimation is good, it will give us the good results. So these are the other methods which we will be seeing in the next slide. Also, we put some color or dye or some chemical in the channel, and then we see how long it takes to move this chemical from one place to the next place. That help us estimate the time of travel, and that time of the travel will help me estimate the velocity of the flow. So if velocity of the flow is known to me, then we can estimate the discharge. Both have the similar method, dilution method and the chemical gauging method. Either some chemical will be mixed or some tracer will mix within the channel, and then time will be measured. Float method already discussed. If you have the float velocity with you, then it has been seen that surface float velocity is about 20% more than the mean velocity of the channel. Remember this thing. So surface float velocity, if you have put an orange or ball in the channel and you have seen velocity of this float or this ball is, let us say, is 1 meter per second, then you can estimate the mean velocity using this relationship, that mean velocity will be observed velocity of the float divided by 1.2. Surface float velocity divided by 1.2. So about 0.8 will be the mean velocity. So use that mean velocity, multiply it with the flow area, you can have the estimate of the discharge. So you will be frequently using this method while going on a stream. People will try and you will like to know approximately how much is the discharge. So see how much is the float or some debris is flowing at the top of the stream. See it and estimate the flow area. Flow area you can estimate by estimating the width of the channel and approximating the depth. So much is the depth. So assuming a rectangular channel. So these are the rough guess which you can make while standing on the side of the stream. So float method can be used to estimate the flow discharge in certain extent. When all other methods are not available, we can estimate it. Ultrasonic and electronic gaugings are quite frequently used nowadays. These are the new methods being used. Sound waves or some electromagnetic waves are used to estimate the depth of the channel, to estimate the velocity in the channel. Moving boat method, these instruments can be placed on the boat also. So then this method will be called as the moving boat method. So I take a break over here, and 3 slides are finished in 50 minutes. So we continue it after 5 minutes. I will not take longer break. So please come back after 5 minutes. Any questions till now? कोई है सवाल वगैरह? Okay, have a 5-minute break and we can continue. I'm stopping it. I have started the recording. So before we go ahead, I will say that on different slides, I have put some links of the YouTube, because this video help us understand quickly rather than reading the text. So please go through these videos. You will be getting good understanding of the working of the current meter, because now a few slides will be how the current meters are used to estimate the flow in the channel. Current meter is the most commonly used method for measurement of the velocity and then discharge in the stream in open channels. And they can be of different kinds. 2 main kinds are, one is cup type of current meter, like it is shown over here. It has a vertical axis. On the vertical axis, there are few cups attached to it, conical cups attached to it. And when water passes along this current meter, so then these cups start rotating. And when these cups rotate, then on each rotation, a circuit is completed inside this instrument, and a tick or a pulse is generated.
Sir, slide shares नहीं हुई.
Okay. Thanks for telling me. मैंने शेयर की ही नहीं होगी, भूल गया. So now you are seeing my slides, hopefully. Just a moment, please. Okay. So I am saying that the current meter is the most widely used method for estimation of the velocity in the stream. Current meter can be of different kinds. Some current meter are provided with the cups which are attached to the vertical axis. Axis of rotation is vertical. They rotate in horizontal plane. So if the axis is vertical, cups will rotate in horizontal plane. These current meter are put in the line of the flow with the help of this vane attached at the back end, vane. So this vane help it face opposite to the flow. So it should be facing perpendicular to the flow, opposite to the flow. So it should be placed along the flow. So this vane help it placed over there. Usually we have a weight installed to this current meter at the bottom, not shown in this slide, but it will be shown over here. In this slide, there is a fish weight, we call it. Its shape is like a fish. It keeps this whole instrument vertical. This weight is quite heavy, 30-pound weight, 40-pound weight, depending how big is the stream, how big is the flow velocity. This weight do change. So it keeps its vertical because sometimes we suspend it with a simply cable. With the help of the cable, we suspend it in the channel. So keeping it vertical, keeping it aligned to the flow of the water are two important tasks. Vane keep it aligned and weight keep it vertical. So one will be the cup type of instrument, and the rotation of the cups. For each rotation, there will be a tick generated, and that ticks will be either it will be noted with the help of some data logger or screen, or in the old instrument, usually we were provided with the क्या कहते हैं इसको speakers or headphones were provided. And with the help of those headphones, number of ticks were measured in a certain time period. So those number of ticks help us find how many number of rotations are occurring. Because this instrument would have been under the water, we cannot see how many rotations are there, we can only hear it. Or some screen, now latest digital equipment, digital current meter gives the number of ticks and number of rotation on a screen. So any kind of attachment can be available. Either microphones will be there, not microphone, क्या कहते हैं इसे? Speakers will be there, or headphones will be there, or some digital screen will be there, which will tell you the number of rotations. So one commonly used current meter is called as the price current meter, or USGS AA current meter, same thing. USA price meter, price current meter. Price is the name of the inventor who have first developed it. USGS AA current meter is same thing. So that is used to estimate the flow velocity. Another kind of current meter is propeller. In price or AA current meter, we use cups. In propeller, like we have a propeller of a turbine or propeller of a boat attached to it. So that is installed, and its shape will look like this one. So this is a propeller current meter. So it rotates on horizontal axis. Its axis of rotation is horizontal, and it don't have the cups installed to it. Rather, curved vanes are installed as a propeller. So when water passes along this, it starts rotating, and the rest of the method is same. number of ticks are measured, and we can estimate the how much is the velocity. So these are the two main kind. One is a cup type of the current meter, another one is propeller kind of the current meter. So there are some videos available which you can see maybe later on. So this is how its installation is carried out. You can see this video in the later part. And this is available in your what we call it slides also. Here is the actual measurement. When water depth is small, then you can go into the stream and you can measure the depth of the channel at different location using this rod, and we call this as a wading rod. This method of measurement of discharge or velocity we call as wading. Wading means W-A-D-E. Wading means walking through the channel. So they physically walk through the channel at different locations. They measure the depth, they measure the velocity, and then note it, and then come to the office and then carry out computation, and then total discharge in the channel is measured. Because velocity in the channel is different at different location, so they don't take only one reading. So the whole channel is divided into smaller segments. So it is recommended that whole channel should be divided into the smaller segments like this one, if this is the whole channel. So they divide it into 10 to 20 smaller segments. So velocity is measured in each of these segments or parts independently, separately. So they will go to first segment, they will measure the total depth, then at appropriate depth, the current meter will be placed because vertically the velocity varies. So current meter should be placed at appropriate depth. It is found that the appropriate depth to estimate the velocity in a certain section is should be either it should be 0.6 times of the total depth from the top of the water surface. That will be representing the mean velocity in that part. So we say this is the method, this is the mean velocity at 60% of the total depth. So one method is this one, that we place the current meter at 0.6 times of the total depth in the channel. And this method of measurement is called as 6/10 depth method. So when channel depth is not very deep, it has a shallow depth, then only 1 point can be used to estimate the velocity, and that 1 point should be not middle of the channel. It should be a little bit lower than the middle of the channel. It should be 0.6 times of the total depth at that place from the top of the surface. For example, at that place, channel depth is 1 meter. So mean velocity will be at 0.6 meter from the top of the surface, not from the bed of the surface, from the top of the surface. Measure how much is 0.6 times of the depth, place current meter at that location. So then that will be noted as a mean velocity. If you do place it at some other location, we cannot say that this is the mean velocity. Through many observations in the channel, it has been seen that mean velocity of the channel is usually at a depth of 0.6 times total depth of the channel. If the channel depth is large, then instead of relying on one depth, it is recommended that measure the velocity at 2 depths vertically. Vertically measure it at 2 depth for each section of for each subsection. This is the total channel section divided into 10 to 20 subsections. For each subsection, measure it at 2 depths. One depth will be 20% of the total depth from the top of the water level. Other depth will be 80% of the total depth from the top of the water level. So 0.2 of the depth of the channel and 0.8 of the depth of the channel will be the 2 points which will be used. That is mentioned over here in this table. So if it is a deeper channel, measure the velocity at 0.2 D and 0.8 D. Then mean of these two will give you the mean of the velocity in the channel. Then we take the average of these two. If we have smaller depth, only 1 point measurement is sufficient. If it is larger depth, then 2 point measurement. And sometime to cross check the 2 point measurement, we carry out the 3rd point measurement also, that is 0.6 times depth. So that is not very frequently done. So usually we do either 1 point measurement or 2 point measurement. If it is 1 point measurement, it should be 0.6 times of the depth. If it is 2 points measurement, it should be 0.2 times depth and 0.8 times depth. Take average of them. So that will complete the measurement at one subsection. So once we have one subsection mean velocity, and if you have the width of that section with you and the depth of that section with you, that can be used to estimate the flow area of that subsection. Assuming it as a trapezoid, having the depth at the middle of the section and knowing the width of the section, we can have the idea of the flow area, approximate flow area, depth into width of the channel in that subsection. So if flow area is with you and mean velocity you have estimated, multiply them and you will get the flow in that subsection. So repeat this for next section, next section, next section, and the total discharge can be calculated by adding all the flow in each subsection. So that is how a current meter is used to estimate the flow in detail in a whole channel. Because we have to divide the whole channel into number of subsections, so this is a cumbersome, this is a laborious job. Usually it takes days. Bring in your mind large rivers like Kunhar if you have to measure the depth over there. You cannot think of wading in that. You cannot think of going into that. So you have to have a bridge over there. You have to have a cable installed over there, so that if it is bridge is available, you can stand on the bridge and you can suspend the current meter inside it, and you can measure the depth by taking the instrument at the bed of the channel and then bringing it at the water level of the channel. So you can have the estimate of the depth of the water at that place. Knowing the depth, put the instrument at 0.6 times of the depth. Then take readings for a few minutes. Note the number of revolutions of the current meter and note it in the tabular form like this. Then move to the next location, move to the next location, move. So that will, the whole exercise will yield one discharge of the channel at that time. So knowing the water stage of the channel at that time, that will give you 1 point on the current meter. Not current meter, that will be giving you 1 point between stage and discharge on the rating curve. So repeating it several days, several months, you can develop the rating curve at a new location. If somebody have already developed it, then you are lucky. That's an important and have a lot of labor at the back of that. So that is, this is showing you variation of the velocity at different depth and different width point. So that should be kept in mind, that velocity is not constant. That is why we divide the channel section into the smaller subsections. This is showing you the velocity distribution in vertical plane. If you go along the depth, velocity some place is small, large, large, large. So velocity varies with respect to depth. So that is what is showing. This should be known to us. This should be known to you, that velocity in an open channel is not constant at each location. It varies. So what is the mean velocity? So people have estimated that mean velocity in a at a certain width of the channel section is at 0.6 times of the depth, or at 0.2 and 0.8 times of the depth, and mean of that. So that should be known to us. So here is a propeller kind of current meter, and they are doing its ये इसको दिखा रहा है और इसके calibration करके check कर रहा है इसको. He is checking it, opening it, checking it, and each rotation will give a pulse, and that pulse or that signal is noted by this ammeter or current meter. So instead of this current meter, we can have a headphone installed and we can listen to that voice also. Similarly, I will say that on this first slide, these two YouTube videos are there. So they are actual measurement of discharge used in a channel in USA. If I show you just for a few minutes, here is a current meter in the laboratory, and they are using it, and the weight they are using is 100 pounds. And this is a trolley sometimes we use when we are working on a bridge. We need such a trolley. A suspend current meter using the bridge crane or bridge trolley. They release it, it goes to the channel itself. Here is a wire which is used to measure the stage. So now we cannot see the current meter, but because of the weight of the current meter, because of the weight attached to it, vertical. Now it is we are noting. It is their duty to put this front meter required that this should be sure the purpose is method of this current meter measurement in a good way. So these are the current meter. Here is a rating table, rating coefficients for this instrument. This instrument is available in our lab also. So this picture I have taken from the lab. They are telling that if the 40 revolutions contact is being used, then use these coefficient 38.5 and 0.0265. And this I have elaborated that total flow area is estimated by measuring the total discharge is estimated by measuring the discharge in the smaller subsection and then summing them together. Usually we divide it in 20 to 30 vertical sections. Criteria is that no section should have more than 10% of the discharge. Criteria is that no subsection should have flow or discharge more than 10%. If it is the criteria, it means at least 10 section we have to make, at least. But when, if you divide it into the 10 parts, usually flow is much higher in the middle parts. So then it is possible that in the middle part flow is more than 10%. So that's why 20 to 30 vertical sections should be made if we want to make sure that no flow, no subsection have flow area more than 10%. Got it? So here are some of the numericals which you have to solve it. And whole method is described over here. This is the equation of current meter. That velocity is a coefficient plus another coefficient times n. N is the number of revolutions per second. V is equal to A plus B times n. So A and B will be given by the equipment manufacturer, the current meter manufacturer, or you will get it from the calibration of that current meter in the lab, in the flume. So either 0.2 times and 0.8 times of the depth are used to estimate the discharge, or 0.6 times of the depth. It should be kept vertical with the help of this weight. If it is not vertical, then there are chances that error will occur, and approximate error for 12 degree out of plumb, 12 degree out of plumb angle will be about 2% of the velocity will be erroneous. That will be wrong. So if you are using 2 points method, take the average. If you are using 1 point method, and that will be the mean velocity. Mean velocity into flow area of that subsection will give discharge in that subsection. Summation of all such discharges will total discharge in the channel. If you divide this total discharge of the channel by the flow area, you will be getting the mean velocity. So it's a numerical question. These you have to solve yourself. Please go through this example, and few lines have been solved and described over here. And I have taken this example from handbook from the hydrology by Venti Chow, Applied Hydrology by Venti Chow. If this book is with you, you can see this example over there also. This example is solved in this part also, so I describe it over here. Discharge is measured in a channel and it is divided into a number of subsections. The first reading is taken at a distance 0 from the bank, and depth over there was 0, meter was at the 0 depth, no revolutions were there. And then second measurement were done at 2 feet from the bank, and the depth over there was 1 feet. Meter depth was 0.6 of this one. So 0.6 feet per, so 1 point method is used. Number of revolutions were 10 revolutions in a time step of 50 seconds. So 10 revolutions in 50 seconds, we have to convert it into number of revolutions per second. A for this instrument current meter was 0.1, the coefficient 0.1. The second coefficient, multiplying coefficient, was 2.2. So such table should be made before going to the field. Such table should be made: distance from the bank, depth at that place, and location of the current meter with respect to vertical, with respect to depth, whether it is 1 point or 2 points. So revolutions noted at that location and the time in which those number of revolutions have been noted. So then N should be calculated, number of revolutions per second, these two, division of these two. Mean velocity should be measured using this N and A and B of the equipment, and velocity should be noted. Then mean velocity, if it is 1 point, it will be mean velocity. If it is 2 point, take average of these two. Next is width of that section should be. So width of, because this is a corner section, so its width will be from the left section, middle of the left section to the middle of the right section. Width should be taken in this way. I show it to you in the cross section. For example, at this location at 2 feet, width should be half of this section on the left side and half of this section on the right side. First reading is over here, so width is we can say is half of only on the right hand side. So 1 feet will be the width. For the second reading, half of this width will be 2 feet divided by 2. So 1 feet from here, and here also there is a difference of 2 feet, so divided by 2. So 1 feet over here. So width of this section will be 2 feet. Depth is noted over there. So width for the second should be 2 feet. Depth should be whatever is the depth measured over here, 1 feet. So area is 2 into 1. We can estimate. So this is solved over here. So please try to do it yourself. Usually we put some similar questions in exam also. If you don't have practice, you will not be able to do it. Sometimes we give you the mean velocity ourselves. Sometimes we give you N value and A and B value will be given. Then mean velocity you have to estimate. Sometimes we put the current meter at one depth only, 0.6 of the mean. Sometimes we put at 2 depths. So mean you have to. So you should be knowing how to calculate the width and the flow area and multiply it with the mean velocity, how to get the total discharge in a subsection. Add them together, you get the total discharge. Divided by the total flow area, you get the mean velocity also if you are interested in it. So velocity at different section is different, but the mean velocity will be something else. So please solve it. And also you can have the estimate of the mean hydraulic depth also, which is the flow area divided by top width. So many parameters can be calculated using this. So that is the conclusion of a method of current meter and its computation. Please solve the numericals, and so that you should be familiar with such computation. And this is utilized in the field also. Spillways, weirs, flumes, highway culverts can be used to measure the discharge. For all of these, we should have a relationship between discharge and head above those, above the crest of those structures, head above the bottom of those cross sections. So crest, if the spillway is there, head above the crest, related to the discharge, and we can get it. So that is the condition which is shown. There is a notch or weir attached over here. So V notch is there. So head above this notch is measured, and using the discharge formula, we can have the idea of flow. So notches are placed in a small channels. Weirs are placed in the large channel. Difference between weir and notch, I think I told you last time also. Weirs are masonry structure. They are made of concrete or bricks. Notches are metallic structures made of steel plates. So notches can be rectangular V notch. Flume I already described. So we measure the depth at the two sections, one at the throat, one at the upstream side. The difference of these two depths is related to the discharge passing through this flume. Dilution method may be a little bit new for you. It was developed quite early, 1868 and in 19th century. Effective for flashy and turbulent hilly stream where it is difficult to use a current meter. When there is a flashy stream like Kunhar River or this, and there is good turbulence of water which mix the salt, which mix the tracer inside it quite easily. So then we use such method of dilution of some chemical inside it. This method involves injection of the chemical or tracer into the flow. We mix some known quantity of some chemical or some tracer. It can be a colored tracer. So its known quantity, known concentration is mixed in the water at one location of the channel, and we measure downstream side a sufficient different downstream where mixing is done over there in the channel. We measure the concentration. So time taken for concentration of a certain value to reach on the downstream station. So these are related with the discharge with the help of equation mentioned over here in the coming slides over here. I will show you how to relate the measurement of concentration with the discharge. So tracer is known quantity of tracer is added into the channel at one location, and then that tracer through chemical analysis, that tracer is measured on a downstream station. So concentration on the downstream station and the concentration at the upstream station and the time interval between these two. So that helps us relate the discharge of the channel. More the discharge, quickly that concentration will reach downstream side. So basic assumption in it is mixing of the tracer dye with the river flow, which can be better achieved in turbulent stream. So more is the flow, more will be the turbulence, and more good will be the mixing, and quickly it will reach to the downstream station. So it gives us the precise knowledge of the discharge over there. Geometry knowledge is not much required over here because we are measuring the concentration, and concentration can help us relate it to the discharge. Here is the scheme in which if you are using this method, such scheme you have to develop over there on the channel. You should establish two stations, one upstream station over here, one downstream station over here. And at one station, you will be adding chemical or some tracer over here. At another station, you will be measuring. You will be taking the sample and you will be doing the lab experiments or what we call it. Analysis of those samples will be carried out to know the concentration at the downstream station. Here they are mixing, it is a color dye. They are mixing at one location, and on the downstream station, they are measuring it. Reach should be, there should be no loss or gain within the two measuring stations. Between two stations, there should be not any linkage of other stream. So that is the important factor. Mixing must be complete, so it should be having good turbulence in the stream. Wide channel and reaches with the bifurcation should be avoided. So these are some of the care you have to take while you are using this dilution method. A reach where turbulence is high should be preferred. Bends, narrows, and waterfalls are good aids for mixing. If there are bends, if there are waterfalls, so they can help in mixing of the tracer inside it in a good way. Pools of dead water, standing water should be avoided. Pools of dead standing water should be avoided. So the mixer or tracer which we can use are of different kind. Sometimes simple salts are used because it is easy to measure the salt and it is not much costly also. Different kind of salts can be used as a tracer. Radioactive tracer can be used. There are some materials which radiate energy. Gamma rays are radiated. So then they are added and then at the downstream station using the gamma rays cameras or some other camera, their radioactivity is measured and then they estimate that so much radioactive material have reached. So its quantity should be used in such a way that it should not be hazardous for the habitat within the water, the living environment over there. Fluorescent dyes, like in the previous picture, the green color. So such kind of colorful dyes or colors can be used to using in this dilution method to estimate the discharge. It can be applied in two ways. Either we add the salt or add the chemical immediately in a sudden injection method, or we continuously inject it at a constant rate. So both methods have different equations that will be informed to you. In sudden method, a known volume V, now V is for volume, a known volume V is added suddenly at one section, and then this tracer is added to the stream rapidly as possible. Then samples are taken for this chemical on the downstream section. And then a curve is plotted between the concentration measured on the downstream station and time. So such kind of curve, concentration on the downstream station and the time. So we will be seeing that at the downstream station when we have mixed the salt on the upstream station. On the downstream station, initially there is no concentration, zero. So with the passage of time, concentration at the downstream station reaches to a peak value and then it dilutes back to the original value. So C2 is the symbol which we are using as a concentration on the downstream station. So area under the curve will be giving you concentration times concentration multiplied by the time, mean the volume of the salt can be estimated on the downstream station. C2 into dt is the volume of that salt reaching at that. Between two times step, if we integrate it, we can have the idea how much salt have reached over here. So here is the derivation of the relationship between concentration measured on the downstream station C2 and the concentration added at the upstream station C0 with the discharge. The assumption over here is that whatever is added C0, whatever is the concentration of the salt added at the upstream station minus the initial concentration at that place, multiply by the volume of the injected dosing solution. So if we have added, for example, 1 liter of this solution with the salt inside it, so that concentration times volume should be equal to discharge time area under the curve over as we have noted over there. You see this integration of concentration into dt will give the concentration at the downstream station collected in a certain time step dt. So when we multiply this concentration with the discharge passing over there, that will give me the total volume of the salt passing over there. So if it reaches to the original value again, so this both left hand side and right hand side should be equal to each other. So volume of the solution added multiply its concentration should be equal to Q times dt. So this is the volume passing through that location. Q times dt is passing water volume passing through that, multiply by the concentration. So both of these should be equal. When we rearrange it, we can get discharge is equal to volume of the tracer added into its concentration divided by this part only, integration of C2 minus C1 into dt. It has been seen that original concentration which is added is much higher as compared to the concentration measured on the downstream station C2, and which is higher than the concentration originally in this channel, uh, uh, because this tracer was not originally present in this channel. So C naught is usually much higher than C2, and that is higher than C1. So we can ignore in this whole equation, C1 can be equated to 0. So this equation can be further simplified as volume into concentration added C naught divided by the area under the curve of the concentration measurement at the downstream station, area under the curve at the downstream station. So that help us find the discharge in the channel. Similarly, equation can be derived if we continuously add a tracer in the channel with the rate of injection of small q. If we continuously add, in the previous example, the tracer was added immediately. Of certain volume of the tracer V was added immediately. Now, if we add the tracer through constant rate of injection of small q, and the concentration in that solution is C naught, and if original concentration in the channel is C1 and the flow passing in this channel is Q, so then sum of these two will be equal to sum of these two solutions, stream channel flow plus the injection flow into the concentration measured on the downstream station C2. So this can be related with each other. So discharge can be C naught minus C2 over C2 minus C1 into Q. So this is known value. We have added it. C1 is the original concentration in the channel before adding. C2 is concentration measured at a certain time step after certain time. So if the rate of injection is constant, so this C2 will be also constant after some time at the downstream location. So that can help us relate the discharge in the channel. Sometimes, again, knowing that C naught is much greater than C2, this C2 and C1 can be put equal to 0. And this equation can be simplified as Q is equal to C naught small q over C2. If we use the solution which we have added with the dilution ratio of N, and have a concentration of C3, then this initial concentration C naught can be replaced with NC3. So either you use this equation if you have the initial concentration known to you, or you use rate of dilutions into C3, and we can find the discharge in this way using the chemical tracer method. So this concentration we measure by chemical analysis of that sample taken from the channel. So we add the dose over here in the upstream station. We measure the concentration which we call as C2 on the downstream station where mixing have occurred already. So this C2, C naught can help us find the relationship between discharge and the initial rate of injection. C naught over C2 is equal to Q. So this can be used frequently for measurement of discharge in the channel. We call it as a tracer method. Ultrasonic method use sound waves. A pulse is generated, and the time taken by the pulse from one edge of the channel to the other edge of the channel, that is noted, and that help us relate the discharge with the time taken by the pulse of the sound wave. It is can be described in a good way in this video. these are the sensors attached at the side of the sound wave is created, and then sound is so when there is no flow, the time taken by the signal going from one side to the other and then other to the first side, that will be the same. But if the flow is occurring, then the travel time will be smaller in the direction of the flow. Travel time of the sound wave will be smaller in the direction of the flow, and it will be larger in opposite direction of the flow. So this difference of the is so that is how the ultrasonic method works in pipes, and the similar is the concept in channels also. So because we don't have the pipe in open channel, so there's these transducer or these sensors are installed on the bank of the channel, and then the speed of the sound wave or the time taken by the sound wave to pass through this water body. So that is related to the discharge by the formula, and discharge is then estimated through this channel. So here is the brief description how time measured can be related. Time taken in the direction of the flow, if it is T1 and the length is L, and then it will be C plus velocity in the direction of pulse velocity of the channel. So 1 over T1 can be written in this way. Similarly, in opposite direction, it will be C minus V over P. So its reciprocal is 1 over T2, C minus Vp over L. So when we subtract them together, it can be written as 2 Vp over L. C is cancelled with C. C is the velocity of the sound waves, I think. And the velocity of the water in the direction of the pulse is set as Vp. Vp is velocity of the water in the direction of the pulse, while C is the velocity of the sound wave itself, while V is the velocity of the water which we want to measure. So Vp is in this direction, in the direction of the pulse. Vp is the water velocity in the direction of the pulse. It will be a little bit different from the velocity in the flow direction. So they are related with the help of this angle theta. So we can say that Vp is V cos theta. Vp is V cos theta. So when 1 over T1 minus 1 over T2 is 2 Vp over L, so it can be 2 V cos theta over L. So velocity of water in the direction of the flow can be estimated just by knowing the time taken in the direction of the flow and the time taken in opposite direction of the flow. Time taken by the pulse in the direction of the flow is T1. Time taken by the pulse in opposite direction of the flow is T2. So this formula helps us find the velocity of the flow in the channel. So it is an electronic instrument which helps us measure the time, and they call it piezo sensor, electro piezo sensor. Sound wave, when hit to the piezo sensor, it generates a voltage in that electronic instrument, and that can be used to measure the time taken by that sound pulse. So similar can be done over here. So this is the float method is shown over here, already familiar. In boating method, the echo sounder and these velocity measurement instruments are installed on the boat, and then boat is transversed across the channel cross section, and the echo depth sounder gives them the total depth, and this the sound method can help them find the velocity of the channel. So both together help them measurement of the discharges. Stage discharge relationship, I already told you, is a rating curve, and we have to sometime extend the rating curve, and rating curve is usually of this shape. If I show you rating curve shapes, no rating curve is shown over here. So usually rating curve is not a linear line. If I go to my slides again, rating curve is not a linear line between Q and H. Usually there is an exponential function. Rating curve is a relationship between stage H and Q, and usually there is an exponential function, a function which is related with another parameter with the help of some exponent. So extension of the rating curve is a special problem in hydrology. Frequently, a hydrologist have to extend the rating curve beyond its actual measurements. I repeat it. You have measured a discharge, you have measured a stage, and you have developed rating curve by those measurements, several measurements, 20, 30 measurements. But that has a limit of whatever was the discharge in the channel that you measured. But sometimes you want to know the stage for a higher discharge, which you have not measured over there. And this frequently occurs when you are designing a bridge, when you are designing a barrage, when you are designing a dam or spillway. You design it for an exceptionally high flow. We call it probable maximum flood. We call it 100-year return period flood. We call it 1,000-year return period flood. So we have to design the structure which should be safe for higher discharges than what we have measured there. So when a discharge we have not measured over there, how can we know its stage? How can we know its water depth? So this is a problem where extension of the rating curve we have to do. You have a rating curve, for example, developed for discharge up to 200,000 cusic, 2 lakh cusic ke liye, you have the rating curve. But you want to design a structure over there which is safe for 5 lakh cusic discharge over there. So whether you will extend it linearly, whether you will be extending it proportionally, how to do it. So that is a problem which we call it as extension of the rating curve. So two methods have been developed, and from the shape of the rating curve, it has been known that it's follow an equation of this shape, exponential equation. This equation can be linearized. In this equation, H is the stage, of the water. Q is the discharge. K, A, and B are the coefficients which are different at different location. At one location, K is 3.1. At another location, K is 3.2. At one location, A is 1 meter. At other location, A is 10 meter. B is exponent, usually higher than 1 usually. So these coefficients, if we know these coefficient, then we can say that we have the equation available and we can extend the curve using this equation. So knowing this equation, parameters K, A, and B can be done by this graphical method, extension using logarithmic method. We plot, we take log of both sides. The background of this concept is that take log of both of sides. Log of Q is equal to log of right hand side. This right hand side log can be written as log of K plus log of this part, H minus A power B. And that can be written as B into log of H minus A. Now, if you carefully see this equation and you think this is Y and you think this is coefficient, let us say C, you think this is a coefficient, say M, and this is a parameter X. So Y is equal to C plus M into X. So this becomes linearized. By taking the log of the both sides, the non-linear relationship has been linearized. So if we plot this H and Q on logarithmic graph, it should be a straight line if A and B and K are well suited over there. So that is what we carry out in logarithmic method, that we plot Q and H minus A on log graph. It will be a straight line if A value is rightfully selected, if A value is correct. So using different approximation A values, we select suitable A value, then plot the graph, then we change A value, again plot the graph. That A value which gives us the perfect straight line, that will be selected as a correct value of A. Then the intercept will on the graph will be log K, and slope of that line will be B. Slope of that line will be B, intercept will be log K, so that log K can be used to estimate K value, and B is the slope, and A also we have estimated. In this way, all these parameters A, B, and K are estimated. Once we have A, B, and K with us, then we can find discharge for any H, any higher value of H. So this method you have to apply in the lab also. So hopefully you have applied it. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. Second method is extension using the rating curve AD method. If you have done it in the lab or not? Anybody?
Sir, कर लिए हुए हैं.
ये कर लिए हुए हैं. So if you have any question, please ask me. In this, we assume that Chezy curve is applicable. And if we plot the discharge with A into D under root, it should be a straight line. So that straight line is then extended to estimate the discharge value. So that is the second method. So that ends today's lecture. Please go through it, and you are welcome to ask any question if you have. Otherwise, I am taking the attendance now. Download attendance list, and thank you very much. I am stopping the recording. Okay, Allah Hafiz.